No? Oh, okay, good. All right. Well, if we don't have anybody there, I'll wait for them to get over here. People to get over here. But hello. How is everybody today? Good. No food, Mark? Okay. You're missing it. It's good.
What did Leanne make?
She made a yummy mung bean curry.
Yes, mung bean.
You're getting into the mung beans now.
They're done. I made it because I saw the note on the recipe that you asked how was this? So I made it for you.
Ah,
Better turn your sound off on that machine. Oh, that's fall.
yeah, it is.
Trying to shut off, but there we go. So you can hit OK there, Debbie, at the top of your little screen.
Okay. Okay. Screen is sharing. Okay. Oh, don't do that. All right. Shall I start? Oh, who does we? Come on over. Get closer over here. Come on.
Yeah, there's some people.
You get too far out there. Okay. So welcome everybody. We're going to get started. So my name's Debbie Lucas, dietitian, and welcome to April. I hope everybody had a great Easter. Did we? Did we have a good Easter? Yeah. Anybody make anything great food for Easter?
Right.
I made a great fruit salad. That's what I made. Anybody else? What'd you have, John?
Hail Caesar.
Kale Caesar, nice. Okay, that's a good one. All right. Good. My fruit salad was all I could eat at the potluck I went to. But that's okay. That is all right. So we're talking about it's Earth, Earth Day, I think is what, the 22nd of the month. But we should practice Earth Day, every day, including all month. So I'm focusing today on things that like sustainability with our foods that we can sort of reuse. So those are the dishes I made today, where I made a salad with quinoa and asparagus and peas. And the dressing actually had the aquafaba, which is the liquid from your chickpea or garbanzo bean can in it. So that's kind of how I did that. And if you've ever cooked asparagus from fresh or used asparagus from fresh, they always have you cut off the woody end. One end of it is kind of like a tree. And so you cut that off. I don't know how you learned to do it, but my mother-in-law taught me because I don't think when I grew up we ever had fresh asparagus. I don't think we ever had that. But my mother-in-law taught me that you kind of bend your asparagus and then at some point it breaks, right? And so that's the woody end and you get rid of that. And then the rest is what you eat. And so normally I compost all my little stems, but to keep up with our theme, I looked up a recipe for being able to use those stems that you normally would throw away or compost and put them in a soup. And so if you've tried that soup, tell me how it is. It's the green soup. It's a green soup with stems. But I thought it turned out pretty good. I added a little cashew cream to make it creamy, but I don't think I really needed to. It was creamy when I blended it up. So I just threw it all in the blender. I just boiled it with a potato broth and threw it in a blender. I actually got the recipe from AI. I just said, find me a recipe, and they gave me the recipe. So I hope it's okay. But that was our way of recycling today. So my hot off the press study or something new in the news actually just came out a few days ago. And this was actually really exciting news. This has nothing to do with our topic, really. But the American Heart Association comes out every 5 years with kind of dietary guidelines, their own dietary guidelines, not separate from our USDA ones that, we're not super in love with right now. But this was at the end of March. And what they said in their commentary was that more than half of adults and about 60% of children in our country have unhealthy diets. They didn't really say what unhealthy meant. So what they recommended, what their bottom line of all their guidelines was, and this is the first time, amazingly, this has ever come into these guidelines, is that we should eat less meat and more plant proteins. I don't know why it's taken so long and so many years to figure this out, but they finally added that. And they also highlighted in their commentary that by following plant-based diets, that can help our environment. So I guess that's what went along with our topic today. But then they also said, these were very small. You're right, Linda. I know what you're talking about now. They had 9 features of a heart healthy diet. So I just copied them and put them in here. I cut out some of the things because most of it is self-explanatory. But these are what we should do for our eating style to help protect our heart. And really, most of it is what we do and what we push. So adjust your energy intake, which is basically your calories. And expenditure is how much you burn, like your exercise, to achieve a healthy body weight. Not just to get there, but to keep it off. I know loads of people, bless you, right now are all doing the, Ozempic or all those things, and they may be even losing weight, but the secret is to keep it off. So I'm hoping if they're doing that, they're learning also a lifestyle that's going to help them to keep it off, which I very seriously doubt. But that's another talk for another day. So eat plenty of fruits and vegetables, get colors, different textures. You could do fresh, you could do canned, you could do frozen, whatever is most affordable for you. They talk about having mostly whole grains instead of refined grains. What's a refined grain?
White flour.
White flour, white bread, white rice, Rice Krispies. Yes. Those would be our refined grains. So they're saying choose whole grains, brown rice, choose oatmeal. They're better than the white bread and white rice. They're also saying to get healthy sources of protein. This is where they threw in the plant-based, which is new to these guidelines. So shift from meat to plant-based sources like legumes, and that would include beans and peas and lentils, along with nuts and seeds. So that's where they're saying we should be getting our protein. All this protein is having a moment right now. I mean, everybody's all about the protein. Walk into Starbucks, you got to have protein to it. Everywhere you go, got to get your protein. It's a little crazy. But they're saying, okay, make a shift away from meat and do more plant-based for your heart health, which also happens to be good for the environment. Now, they do say it's okay to consume fish and seafood. As you know, we usually discourage the fish and seafood, but if we were going to have animal proteins, I would say, okay, have fish. But we're a little worried about the contamination, from a sustainability perspective, we're not going to be able to eat all the fish that we eat now and still have fish. So they say low-fat dairy products or fat-free if we're going to do dairy. And if you got to have red meat, choose lean cuts. What would be a lean cut of red meat?
Top sirloin.
Sirloin. Anything with loin or in the title, yes. And what'd you say? Flank steak. There you go. Okay, those would be our lean ones. Although I would really highly discourage those. I think we should do 100% whole base personally. But if we were going to eat some animal foods, fish might be all right. And don't do processed meats. That seems to be the worst thing. And that is one thing that those new dietary guidelines got right. They said don't do processed foods, including processed meats. Let's see. Choose unsaturated fat instead of saturated fat. So our unsaturated fats would be those like nuts, seeds, avocados, plant oils. It says non-tropical. What are tropical plant oils that are highly saturated that we try not to have?
Coconut.
Palm and coconut, right. And you might say, oh, I never would use palm oil. I don't even know what that is, but it's in your processed goods. So that's why limiting processed goods helps us all the way around. Choose minimally processed foods instead of ultra processed foods. This goes right in line with USDA guidelines too. Choose foods in their most natural state. Watch added sugars in beverages and foods. So is there a sugar sweetened beverage that you love? No? Thank you. That's mine too. I have to limit myself to one a week because, yeah, that's crazy. But most anything you get at Starbucks or Dutch Bros or any of those are going to have lots of sugar in them. But also sodas, lemonade. Some people say, oh, I gave up soda, so I'm only drinking lemonade now. Well, lemonade's got lots of sugar too. So we want to avoid our sugar sweetened beverages. Choose foods low in sodium. We all know that one. And that's why if we get away from processed foods, we get away from a lot of the salt because that's where we find most of our salt is in our processed goods. And they did discuss alcohol too, which they hadn't really talked about quite at this level before. But if you don't drink, don't start. But if you do, watch your intake. There doesn't seem to be a good level of alcohol for health. Like we used to say, oh, my cardiologist told me to have a glass of red wine every day. I don't think they're doing that anymore because the science is saying we're not supposed to be doing that. They have not found any good levels of alcohol. So if you don't drink, good for you, don't start.
Number 7.
Yes.
What about zero sugar? Because I like drinking ginger ale,
Uh-huh.
but instead of getting regular, because I don't want corn syrup. I noticed I don't see corn syrup on the zero sugar. But is that just as bad or?
Corn syrup is sugar.
No, I know, but I mean.
But the zero, if it's 0 calories, then there's no sugar in it. That's okay.
And it's no substitute either? No, it must have a.
It probably has a substitute. It might have a sugar alcohol in it. I don't think ginger ale does. I bet it has like stevia or something like that in it.
And I only get small, really.
Yeah. That's okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Otherwise, there's water.
Yeah. So they are studying those fake sugars, and you get different answers all the time, but it could be that because they're so sweet, even though they're not giving you calories, they could gear up your system to want more sweet. If you can have it and it doesn't make you eat lots more sugar, then you're probably okay. It also might change our gut microbiome. We're going to need lots more studies on that to know that for sure. But it might change your gut in a poor way. But I think if you're having your little can every day, that's fine. It's also Cancer Month. So this is just from the American Cancer Society or American Institute for Cancer Research, sorry, and the World Cancer Research Fund. They just have a little list of things we do to reduce cancer. Now, as it turns out, everything we do for our heart is going to be good for our cancer risk too. It's going to be good for our diabetes, and it's going to be good for our high blood pressure. So they're saying be a healthy weight, which is the top of the list of the American Heart Association list. Be active. These are all things you're working on here. Eat your diet with whole grains, vegetables, fruits, and beans. Be careful about fast food and your processed stuff. Limit your consumption of red and processed meats. What's a processed meat? What?
Hot dogs.
Hot dogs. Hamburger's not so processed. I guess it might be if you go to McDonald's, but I'm thinking more like sausage and hot dogs and pepperoni and those kind of things. Chicken tenders is definitely a process, but not probably nearly as bad as those hot dogs. I mean, nobody talks about what's really in hot dogs. Is their McRib back yet? It comes back every now and then. I actually used to love the McRib when I ate meat. So no limit or no sugar sweetened beverages, limit alcohol. And remember, this is based on cancer. So it says, don't use supplements for cancer prevention. Because I think a lot of people buy things that they see online and, oh, this is going to be so great for you. And there's just not enough data to support any of that stuff. And it could be more harmful. For mothers, if they breastfeed if they can, because that helps reduce risk of cancers. And after a cancer diagnosis, follow these same guidelines. So none of us want to get cancer. Okay, so now here finally to our topic, Earth Day. So we want to invest in our planet. We want to eat and do things that help the Earth. So that's what we're going to focus on today. So we're going to talk about these 5 R's. I'll tell you what those are. But other things you can do for our Earth that have to do with food is we could shop locally. And by local, I mean like at the farmer's market. Get it directly from the source. Eat what's in season. So we could go to Rayleigh's and find, or any store you shop at, find any produce any time of the year. But sometimes if it's not in season, it just got shipped from Chile or Mexico or somewhere. So as far as our Earth goes, that increases our carbon footprint because now they had to ship it and use the fuel to get it here. And so we want to eat what's in season because it's readily available in our own communities. Farmers markets are great. I know sometimes they're pricey. Honestly, sometimes I go to the farmers market and I don't buy things because I think I could get this cheaper at the store. But still, even at the store, you want to get things that are in season. And you know how you know they're in season? Because they're cheap. They're on sale. They're the things that are on sale. So we could waste less food. And we'll talk about that because we tend to waste, I want to say it's 40% of the food we purchase in this country gets thrown away. That could be at home. It could also be at a restaurant. Um, we could start to help our earth, try Meatless Monday. I know a lot of you might be cutting back on your meat now or might be totally meat free. I hope you are. If you're not, a way to start is to have Meatless Monday. That or one day, whatever day works for you, and have one day where you don't do any meat. That can have a tremendous impact on our earth. But maybe work up to meatless every day. And then follow this climate friendly eating style, meaning we're buying local, we're going to our farmers market, we're not eating meat as much, not eating meat and dairy that tend to have a big strain on our resources. Okay, so here's our 5 R's. The top, I think I only have a few slides on a couple of these, but the top one is reuse. Or sorry, refuse. I should put my glasses on for everything I do. Okay, so what does refuse mean? I don't think it is. I think that's right. I think it's refuse. Do you think it's refuse?
I would ask the.
Go either way.
I think it's refuse. Like you're going to go to I don't know. I go to Chipotle sometimes, and I refuse. I say no. I don't want napkins. I don't want the plastic silverware. That's what I think it's refuse. You go out and you have your takeout box. You bring your own. Don't you sometimes bring your own? Little
time.
Yeah, bring your own takeout box. So you don't have to use their stuff. So we refuse those things. I think that's what it means. What? It's a verb. Yes. To refuse. Yeah, it could be either. So I hadn't really thought of it that way, Linda, and that's very interesting.
What about if you-
I'm using it as a verb. No, go right ahead.
what about if
English
you
class.
Share your excess fruit or vegetables, and I really don't like them that much. Should I say, do I say?
Oh, that is a great example. Thank you. Somebody says here, this is from my garden. I have all these turnips. Do you want some? And you say, oh, thank you so much. But you know you're not going to eat a turnip to save your soul. But you might love turnips. So we should refuse. We should, and I really admire when people do that. And they say, thank you so much, but I really don't like turnips. I actually do. But, that's a very good example of it. Unless you know what you could do with it. Like in this season when we get all these lemons and things, I take them all because I dehydrate them so then I can use them for a long time. But sometimes you just know you're not going to use all those lemons. So it's okay to refuse. So thank you. That's a very good example. I forgot about that one. We could reduce. So we could reduce the things that we use. We could reduce our meat intake. We could reduce our dairy intake. We could reduce our packaging of things. We could reduce the packaging by going to the bins at your grocery store instead of buying, how everything you buy is packaged and packaged and packaged. Got to get the scissors out and get everything open. So if you just went to the bins, let's say, you're reducing. You could even bring your own container. Do you do that? Bring your own container for the bins? I don't. Do you weigh it?
No, they do it to the checkout.
Oh,
But
but you already have stuff in it.
yeah, but see, they know, the only time I have a container or get a container is for peanut butter.
Uh-huh. Me too.
Now that I've got a peanut butter container, I bring that.
I need to do that.
They know what the weight is.
Right.
They automatically do the tear, so we
Uh-huh.
just weigh it up.
Okay, good. I'm going to start doing that. That's my goal today. I'm going to start doing that.
As soon as some things like the odd jar
Uh-huh.
at the co-op anyway, you can take it to the service desk. And they'll give you a tear weight.
Uh-huh.
So you could fill it with maple syrup or olive oil or whatever.
Ah, okay.
And that will automatically be counted in. Yeah,
All right. Nice. Okay.
They're counting the weight of the jar. It's like at Winco.
they, they discount, when you get a tear weight, they subtract that weight from the overweight. Or the overall weight of the thing,
Okay.
so you don't
So,
pay for your.
I say I don't know where we go in Winco to do that.
I don't either.
Okay, I'm going to talk to them next
I
time.
don't-
I'll ask them next time. Okay. Okay, so we could use things. We could reuse things. We can reuse our jars and our containers and our bags. And so that will help things. We can recycle. But the thing is with recycling, I don't think things are all, even though you're doing good putting it in your little bin and they come and they take it, I don't know what happens out there with it. It doesn't all get recycled like I think we think it is. So it's better to go to those ones above, reuse or just refuse it. And then there's rot, which sounds really disgusting, but it's basically composting. Oh, so here, this is what I wanted to say. So the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, says that only 8.7% of plastics are recycled, even though we're putting all our plastics in our little bins. So we should focus on reuse and reduce and repurpose things. But we can also rot, which is basically composting. So when you send food products in your trash can and it goes to the dump, in the dump, it creates methane, which is a greenhouse gas, which is destroying our environment. Because you think, oh, okay, nothing, it's just produce. It's not going to be that bad. But in the dump, at the dump, it produces this methane, and that's not good for our environment. So be careful about what you put in your trash. So if we have food waste, we could, I thought I had a slide on it. Maybe I don't. Huh. Sorry. I guess I don't. If we have food waste, you can put it out in a little container or a container in your kitchen. Does anybody here compost?
We have to put it, I live in the city.
Yeah.
We have to put it in our yard waste.
Okay.
So they give you this little container and you buy the green bags.
Yeah.
And then you put them in once a week.
That
But
is
you can't
awesome.
put it in your garbage
Okay.
or recycle. You have to put it in the green.
Yeah.
bags.
That is
And
so
look at-
great.
No more plastic.
Look at that. I love it.
Our, coleslaw dressing, right?
Okay, that is nice. So I live in Placer County. And in Placer County, we're one big bin, which means you throw everything in and they have machinery or people or something in the big warehouse in the dump that separates it all. Some people say that doesn't really happen, but I like to think it does. Yeah. Well, that's true. Okay, so I hear what you're saying. So even though they might separate it, it doesn't, nothing happens with it.
Plastic number one is the percent. Everything else,
Hmm.
you look at the numbers, no.
Yeah,
where it's going.
I know. It's really hard. So that's why I think we need to focus on reducing and like not getting things that have all that packaging if we can. But I love the compost. So when you compost, I have a wheelbarrow, old wheelbarrow outside. My husband drilled holes in the bottom. So I put my food waste. I have grass clippings and leaves in it, and I throw my food waste from cooking in there, and then I stir it all up, and every once in a while I add more leaves, every once in a while I add more greens, and then it turns into a really nice little soil at the bottom. And you know what? It never smells, ever. If you have the right balance, it doesn't smell. And I know you can do this little compost box. I think that's one you could just put under your sink if you want it in your kitchen. You could also get worms, although mine has created millions of worms just by itself. What? Where do they come from?
You get out of your garden. Planted. Food source is richer.
Oh, okay. So somehow they make it over to my compost then. Is that what you're saying? Okay. Because yeah, I didn't put them in there, but there are a lot. I mean, it's a whole hive of activity in there. So if you shop local, Now we don't have to put that food you just got onto a truck and get it to a place across the country or even across the city. So farmers markets are really nice. Does anybody have a farmers market they love around here? Yes?
I used to like the Oak Park Farmers Market, but I don't think they're anymore.
Oh, they're not? Oh, I've been to that one. I like that one. Oh, I hear that Midtown one is really nice. And the one under the freeway on Sundays. I hear that's a good one.
That's the good,
Yeah, that's a good one.
the one in Midtown is a scene where you wheel your dogs out in high fashion. More dogs out than children. And they're all in
It's for
costume,
the hip and happening people.
unfortunately.
Okay. And you know, a lot of farmers markets I know aren't really about the food and the produce. They're more about all those other things you can buy or showing off your dogs. We'll see. I didn't know about that.
It's amazing. Organic.
Oh, you know, that's true. I've done those before too. Yes. Thank you for saying that. I don't even think I brought that up. So those are farms that sell like little subscriptions and they will deliver either to a local spot or some go straight to your house. I don't know. Produce when it's in season. That's a great way to do it. Thanks. I used to do a few of them. Full Belly Farm, I did. And I can't.
Some of them are distributed. Small neighborhoods.
Mhm. Yeah.
Distributed, gather up. Offering.
That is awesome. That's a great idea. Thank you for saying that.
Although I wound up composting a lot of that.
Oh, you did?
5 pounds of tomatoes a week.
Oh,
Mm,
you do have to have an idea what you're going to do with it. I think that's where I learned to eat greens because I got so many greens in the winter and you had to do stuff with them. Okay, that's good. It's good. What's in season? Asparagus. So, of course, I highlighted asparagus today. You got your greens, you got peas, you got beans, you got mushrooms, cabbage, carrots, leeks, strawberries. What's your favorite thing in the spring to eat? Tangerines,
strawberry.
strawberries. I know our little stands just open.
Yeah.
What else?
Watermelon.
Watermelon is excellent. Good one. So we want to eat what's in season. This is a lovely little thing. And we want to be careful about our waste. 40% of the food we eat is never eaten. So imagine the cost of that food. Our food is so expensive right now, but add on to that, now we threw it away. And it took all that money to get it to your little drawer in the fridge where you threw it away. So it is a big, big waste. So use all the parts of the food and like beets. I think we've talked about beets pretty much every time I'm up here. So beets have one end that's a beet and one end that's greens. You get to eat both. It's 2 in 1. And broccoli stems. A lot of times we throw away the broccoli stems. We can eat those. You do? Okay, so that's good. So a lot of people, because they're kind of tough, but if you peel them, they're usually really pretty good. And the asparagus woody parts, I've always just composted, but I just made the soup. So I thought that was pretty good. Make a shopping list when you go shopping so that you buy just what you need. Does anybody do that? Anybody make a list anymore? You do? I make a list. Yeah. And then you only get what's on your list. So that way you don't go home with waste. Be aware of what's in your fridge and your pantry. So take a little inventory before I go to the store. I hate it when I go to the store, I buy something and I get home and thought, oh, I already had that. And then you want to eat in the order of how old it all is. So sometimes my husband will say, oh, let's have this for dinner. I said, we can't. We got to eat this because it's going to be going in a few days. Freeze things before they go bad. And you know, one thing I particularly say on greens, you can freeze greens too if you get a lot of greens, but if they get a little wilty, well, you're going to cook them and wilt them anyway. So they're still okay. Or throw them in soups or stews. We don't have to throw things away. And most anything is freezable. Then always wrap up your leftovers. Even the tiniest little amount of leftover you might be able to use somewhere. And I see I skipped accept less than perfect produce. Do you do that or you try to look for the most perfect one? I'm a perfect one person. But if I know, like apples, I know I'm going to make an applesauce. It does not matter what it looks like. So just be aware of what you're going to be doing with it so that you don't waste. Well, that could be if they're perfect. You're right. Yes. Mm-hmm. You're right. Well, and we will talk about that strawberry in a minute. Another thing, I am big on the expiration dates. Anywhere close to the expiration date, I don't want to eat it. But I got to be aware, and I've been trying to work on this. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to throw it out. So if it says best if used by or before, that's just an indicator of the flavor or the quality, not safety. We have to remember it's still good for us. It's not like this fungus-filled thing. It's okay to eat it. Or sell by, that tells the store it's time to rotate it off the shelves. So it's not a safety thing either. And use by, same thing. This is when it's going to be used for its peak quality. But sometimes things are okay if they're not at their peak. It's not a safety date unless it's on infant formula. And freeze by means it's going to be, if you freeze it, it's going to still be at its peak quality when you thaw it. So it's not a safety thing either. So we can't get as hung up on these little dates as I have been all my entire life. It's something I'm working on. And climate change is one of the reasons we're doing a lot of these things. Oh, she separated it from me. I see. I don't know. I have this book. I really like this book. It's just about how our food and our climate and how the things we do affects it. So we're going to see in this next page, it says anthropogenic causes of climate change, anthropogenic causes, and natural causes of climate change. Anthropogenic is stuff that humans did to ruin our environment. The rest are natural things. So fossil fuel, that's transporting things using gas, using electricity. It's agriculture, like the animals eat the food, they digest it, they have create manure, we use water, we have methane then in our environment that destroys our ozone layer. And then we have land changes. Again, things that humans are doing to support the things we want. Imagine if we didn't eat so much meat, we wouldn't have to have so much deforestation to make room for animals to graze. I don't even think animals graze anymore. They're usually factory farmed. So, so we got to just think about our food choices and how they will help our climate. If you want to, you don't have to, but go green for the planet. So I picked these out of a few most recent journals. So from JAMA, the Journal of the American Medical Association, they say that if you swap meat, dairy, and eggs for grains, legumes, and other plants, we'd cut our contribution to greenhouse gas emissions by 51%. PCRM, Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, they say they did a trial. It was on weight loss and climate, which is kind of an interesting trial. But they found that the low-fat vegan group, the whole 100% whole plant-based people, lowered greenhouse gas footprint by 13 grams of carbon dioxide, which was the equivalent to driving a car 4.3 miles. So they were showing that not only did they also lose more weight, but they also helped the environment. And then there's a commission, I can't remember what the EAT stands for, EAT, environmental something, but it's a panel of scientists, and they say that a plant-forward diet can save 15 million early deaths a year, which is why we're trying to do that, right? And reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 15%. So it always points to plant-based is better for our health and also for our environment, as it turns out. Just like, oh, here, I'm trying to eat better for my heart, but as it turns out, it's also good for my cancer risk.
What is the gas emissions?
Yes, by their food choices. Yeah.
Is that?
I think it was just during this study, which probably wasn't very long. I think they just did it during the length of the study. And I'll go back and look and see what that length was. But thank you, that's good. Because really, if in a whole year, we're only going to save 4.3 miles of driving a car, that's not very exciting. It's true. You're right.
Well, these are projects.
So I have a few slides there from Forks Over Knives that just show how much water it takes to produce 1 pound of food. So that beef down there uses a lot, the most. Nuts are not low. And then we go up, 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 and then we got our eggs. Of course, our fruits and vegetables, no surprise, are going to be our lowest. A quarter pounder uses 425 gallons of water and enough energy to charge our phone for 6 months. So we got to think about that water. And we've talked about this when we've talked about dairy alternatives. So like almond milk is one of the ones that uses the most water in creating that milk. If you love it, still have it, but just FYI. What?
Soy is better.
Soy or even oat milk. This, what?
So,
So I think soy is better for a lot of other reasons too. This shows the carbon footprint of certain foods, greenhouse gas emissions from common foods. So the green is the emissions total. And all the other ones, the turquoise, are like from processing, transport, waste, and other things that it takes to get that food to market. So we can see the meat and cheese are on the left, the produce mostly on the right. Dairy was pretty low though. Dairy was low, as much as I like to trash it. It was pretty good. Nuts were worse. We can fight climate change by trying to go meatless. Meatless Monday is a good campaign. They've had it for years and years. And swapping out plant-based foods for meat and dairy, plant-based foods instead of meat and dairy, just 1 day a week reduces climate change more than eating locally every day. So not to not eat locally every day, but it's good, just not having any meat. And let's see. So less meat and more produce saves water and carbon that eats up our environment, our ozone, less greenhouse gases. It's better for our health. And animals really love it too when we go plant-based. So then you could reuse your food. There's a gal whose name is escaping me at the moment, Carly Boudreaux, I think is her name. And she has a whole book on scrappy eating about turning scraps into food. So we kind of did that with our soup today. We used the scrap that we were to thrown away or composted in our asparagus. We took our liquid from our chickpea can and used that in the salad dressing. But we can recycle our scraps into things we can eat. You can take citrus peels, mix them with vinegar, this is something you can eat. But mix it with vinegar and you can make a cleaner. You actually could eat it. It's a cleaner that won't kill you. You could take all your vegetable scraps, save them up, like you have a little container in your freezer, throw them in until you have quite a few, and then make a broth out of it. Make a vegetable broth out of it. You know how much vegetable broth is if you buy it these days? It is so expensive. So you can make your own. You can use potato peels, put them in your little air fryer or bake them in the oven and make little nachos with them. And by nachos, I'm not talking cheesy nachos. I'm talking put beans on them. You have stale bread? Don't throw it away. Make some croutons out of it. Apple peels? Don't throw those away. Well, we should be eating the peels when we can, but there are times when we got to peel the apple. I can't even think of a time I've peeled an apple, but you might. And so then roast them, put some cinnamon and sugar on them, and now you got a nice little topping for your oatmeal. You have vegetable odds and ends, just those little things, and they're not looking good and in your drawer, but they're still okay. Throw them in a soup or a stew. Banana peels, you could make bacon actually out of banana peels. I have done it. The reason I don't do it for you to prove it is because it does take a bit of oil and a lot of salt because it's all about the flavoring. So you're using a lot of soy sauce and you got to use some oil to make it crispy. I need to try it maybe in the air fryer and see if it works. But you take your banana peel, the older the banana, the better. And you have just your peel and you scrape off, all the white stuff that's on the inside of your peel until basically all you have left is a peel. And then basically you kind of fry them up with this marinade and they are very bacony. My husband was really shocked and they don't taste banana-y at all. It tastes the flavor of bacon. I haven't had bacon in 30 years, so I'm really not sure, but to me it did. You got corn cobs, make corn broth. And so now you got a broth made out of those corn cobs. So there's lots of things we can do to recycle our scraps. And if you don't want to recycle them, at least compost them. Or put them in your little bag and put them in your trash can if you're in Sac County. Oh, there's my banana peel. So yeah, so you peel off the little white part. And then basically you are using a lot of oil. That's why I never make it for you guys. And soy sauce. So it just has the flavor, the smoky flavor. I think you use liquid smoke too. You can also grow food from your scraps. Linda actually is really good at this. You can just stick things like part of a ginger or your green onions. You stick them in there in the water, in a little cup with water, and they grow right on your windowsill. Celery, I've done it with celery, and it's amazing to watch the little celery come right back up. Lettuce, you could do it with avocado. Everybody knows that. We've been doing that since we were kids, right? You take that avocado pit and you stick little toothpicks in it and stick it in a glass and it grows a whole avocado tree. Potatoes, you take the eyes out of potatoes and regrow them. I don't disagree with that. Anyone I've ever done, that is very true. But I know somebody who grew a whole darn tree, like a big tree that produced avocado. So I don't know. My house is where things come to die usually. So I'm not good at that. But sweet potatoes, there's just lots of things you can try to regrow if you wanted to try it. Oh, and so here was my salad that I made. So it called for quinoa and then the asparagus with all the ends cut off, but then I put those into my soup. Chickpeas where I saved the liquid, peas. I think the mint and dill are what really do it for that salad. And then my dressing was lemon. You use the zest and the juice. So you're not wasting your lemon, your aquafaba. If you don't happen to be opening a can of chickpeas, you could use tahini or olive oil, maple syrup, miso, Dijon, shake it all up, pour it on. So how was the salad? Did you like it? I like a good out of John.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen very often.
Dalen liked it.
Okay, good. All right. I thought it was good. I think the mint and the dill are what really made it.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we want to save our planet, we're doing good. All right. What are you going to do? Are you going to eat more plants? Are you going to recycle? Are you going to reduce? Are you going to reuse? Are you going to rot? Are you going to cook with scraps? Are you going to shop at your farmer's market? Everything we do can help. I'm going to take my containers to the grocery store because I go to Winco and I love the bins. That's why I like Winco. And they have, I guess they said it's the law now, but all the stores have the same bags now. They're these big, huge bags that are biodegradable, which I love that idea. And I stick them in my compost. But sometimes I'm only getting this much. And so I don't want to use the big old bag. So I'm going to take my containers because I save my containers for my peanut butter.
Yeah, it's surprising, and now that the co-op got rid of those same bags
Uh-huh.
and getting something that's a little bit more stable, because I found I can't see spices in a white bag.
No,
I can't see grains of beans.
right. I don't know how the checkers do it.
Well, they trust me. But if you have something clear
Uh-huh.
and you can reuse it, so maybe it's just your vehicle from the store to home.
Yeah.
And then you pour it into the container. But we've been stocking up on carrying containers.
Right.
For that very reason.
Yeah. Okay. I've been saving all my peanut butter ones. So, okay, I'm going to try that. I'm vowing to you all I'm going to try that. And I'm going to bring something to the restaurant to take my leftovers.
Upgrade.
You are? What are you getting?
My daughter got for her birthday a thin metal container with a silicone lid. And it is about 2 cup or 1.5 cup size.
Uh-huh.
That is ideal for that portion of the restaurant that we can't eat.
Oh,
And it's going to go straight to the refrigerator. You can empty it to heat it, clean it out, and you can see
Yeah.
that it's clean, ready for the next.
oh, that's nice. Okay.
So we're upgrading. We're moving away from
Up,
plastic.
moving on up. Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Leanne, tell us about your soup.
Oh, I made mung bean soup or curry, and so had all these spices I had to roast and then put in my tomatoes, mixed it up, and some mung beans and 5 cups of water, and voila.
Nice. How long did it cook to cook the mung beans?
It said 30 minutes, but another 20 or so before I felt like they were nice and tender.
Do you have to soak mung beans?
They said no.
Okay. All right. So we can save our planet at the same time we're saving our heart and our health. So I encourage you to get out there and save everything. Yes.
We had a slide on, growing from scratch.
Yes.
Why not just have a garden?
Oh, we totally could. You're right.
You know?
Well, with my celery, I just got it started, that little stub, because a garden is a great idea. But I just had that little stub from my celery. I stuck it in water, a big celery stalk grew out of it, and then I went and planted that in the garden where it promptly died. But I'm going to keep working on that. But I think a garden is a great way. I mean, that you don't have to drive anywhere to get that food. Is anybody planting a garden this summer? I just planted mine and I am so excited for it. Yes. What are you planting?
We got tomatoes, basil, clementine tree, just,
Fun.
we used to do a lot.
Oh, we do. I know it's hard. Do you have a garden, Leanne?
I do not.
So even if you didn't have a garden, you could